God will punish you. Now and forever.
Kanu must not allow to near any digital device, whether on a phone or anything digital, internet or whatever.
Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges.
Hello, you are welcome to this class. I know you have seen the news. Kanu sentenced to life imprisonment. For this class, we will see everything. Small history before today. Wetin happen today? Why they sentence am to life imprisonment? Even why the federal government talk say, hey there, sentence am to death. We'll see everything. The reactions, what people are saying. At the end of the day, you also drop your reaction. Let's start. Let's look at a short history before today's judgment. You are aware that Kanu was arrested and he was put in detention under DSS. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of IPOB, has been in detention facing terrorism-related charges. 2. The trial resumed in 2025. After many delays since 2015, the Federal High Court in Abuja restarted his case in 2025. Justice James Omotosho took over the trial. 3. Kanu raised key objections during this trial. Before the court could give judgment, Kanu challenged the trial. He told the judge, the court has no jurisdiction, no legal power to try me. He also challenged the charges, say, under which law are you charging me? Say, the law when they take charge down, they know they active again. Say they don't repeat those laws. The court did not allow him to call witnesses. According to him, say they don't allow him call witnesses. But court tell us say call witnesses. He talks say, Oti, you answer those 2 questions. You have no jurisdiction. And with which law are you charging me? If you not answer me, I will call witnesses. So aside those 2 points, he call Atpuna say they don't give a chance. Make it call witnesses. The prosecution's evidence was not properly tested during cross-examination. He talks say now when they do cross-examination, now they test evidence where the person or federal government, where the prosecutor, they go test their evidences. He asked the judge to rule on these issues before continuing, according to him. Judge refused to stop the trial. The trial court said it will only address those objections during judgment, not before. The judge tell us, say, all those points you raise, no wahala. Call your witnesses. On the 20th, which is today, that's the day of judgment, I go track this matter. I just dey rush, okay? This make Kanu fear that he will be judged without a fair chance to defend himself. Kanu ran to the appeal court. On November 12, 2025, Kanu filed a fresh application at the Court of Appeal. Wetin he talk? He asked the appeal court to stop Justice Omotosho from giving judgments on November 20, 2025. Put the case on hold until his appeal is heard. He carried the matter where they just say they go do judgment today. He quickly run go appeal court say stop him o. Tell her say make him not pronounce anything until una decide wetin I wan present before una. The request is called a motion for stay of proceedings, asking for the trial to pause. What happened in court today? The court went ahead with the judgment. Even though Kanu asked the appeal court to stop the trial, Justice James Omotosho still continued with the case and prepared to deliver judgment. But why like that? The reason the judge did not wait is because the Nigeria Criminal Procedure under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act ACJA 215 abolished automatic stays for interlocutory appeals to prevent or do delays in trials. The judge was acting within the law. Meaning, when criminal case they go on, like this one, you, when you be defendant, make you no go, they don't go upper court, say, may they stop the lower court. They say that strategy not to delay. Say they don't come out, okay? Now they see. So, the judge was, although appeal court no really decide anything before today. So, the judge, if he say, I will continue, I will continue. Small drama in court before the judgment. Just before the judge began reading the meruli, a brief drama occurred. What was the drama? Kanu protested inside the courtroom, complaining about the process and the refusal to address his objections when he raised. When he called a shout, in response, the judge ordered security officers to remove him from the courtroom. He was then taken out, other guide.
Wait, please, look, this is Supreme Court. This Supreme Court here. Hold on a second. I said, hold on. May it please your lordship. Please. May I refer your lordship to section 266 of Abuja? It's not of law. What you're doing is not law. Please. You don't know the law. Please. Show me. I said, show me. When you have the right to go to my right to find address. Show me. What the Constitution says. Show me. Well, I will rise and come back. You cannot show me. Can you please take him out? I'll come back. I rise. I'll come back in 5 minutes. God will punish you. Now and forever. Criminals. Any judgment, let it be on record. Any judgment in this court is rubbish. Ask him where is the law. Ask him what to show. Where is the law? Where is the law?
And proceedings continued without him. So when they read his judgment, he know the court. This happened right before the judge started announcing the judgment. Okay? The court dismissed all Kanu's objections. After Kanu was removed, Justice Omontosho went on and dismissed all the issues raised by the defense. The no-case submission, the challenge to the court's jurisdiction, claims that the charges are invalid, complains that he was not allowed to call witnesses, arguments that prosecution evidence was not properly tested. The judge said none of these points were strong enough to stop the judgment. 4. The judgment and conviction on terrorism charges. After reviewing the case, the court convicted Kanu on several terrorism-related counts. This included belonging to a proscribed organization, IPOB, inciting violence through its brokers, other terrorism-related offenses. Justice Omontosho described Kanu as an international terrorist and anarchy-minded person. He said Kanu recorded brokers, so he allegedly ordered violent acts, including statements telling supporters to bring down the US and UK embassies, which the court said extended its actions beyond Nigeria. According to the judge, he said, thus, from the above, it can be said that the defendant incited people to evade the British High Commission and their threat against British High Commissioner Cantona Leang and the American embassy is an act of international terrorism. This is the purpose of Section 3 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, which provides any person who intentionally murders, kidnaps, commits other attacks on persons or liberty of an international protected person, carries out violent attack on official premises, private accommodation, or means of transport of an international protected person in a manner likely to endanger his person or liberty, threatening to commit any such attack, commits an offense, and is liable on conviction to life imprisonment, he said. The High Commissioner is an international protected person, be the representative of the British government in Nigeria, as well as other staff of the High Commission and the Embassy of the United States of America. He said leaving the defendant to continue his terrorism activity would have led to an international incident involving Nigeria and other foreign nations who are good partners with Nigeria. Okay? The question to ask again is whether bombing or attacking embassies of high commissions constitutes an action consistent with agitation for self-determination. Again, the answer is no. All these acts go to show that the criminal tendency of the defendant, as well as show concrete proof of his terrorism act. Therefore, I hold without hesitation that the prosecution has successfully established count 6 against the defendant. Consequently, he is hereby convicted of count 6 of the charge he declared. Okay? I just read part of what he talk. Okay? Very long ago. Dismissal of fair hearing claim. The judge rejected Kanu's complaint that he was denied fair hearing. He ruled that Kanu had many chances to defend himself, but he waived those rights by refusing to participate. The court also say all the time they take for this trial followed Nigerian constitution a proper procedure. The sentencing, instead of the death penalty, where they request, federal government request by the prosecution led by San Adegboyega Awomolo, the judge sentenced Kanu to life imprisonment instead of by additional restriction aside the sentence. Court also added strict conditions for his detention. Kanu must not allow to near any digital device, whether na phone or anything digital, internet or whatever. If he's ever permitted to use one, according to the judge, it must be strictly monitored by the Office of the National Security Advisor. These restrictions were added to prevent further incitement or communication to ginger people. What happened next? Kanu's lawyers can now appeal the conviction, can challenge the life sentence, argue that the judge should have waited for the appeal court to decide, raise the issues of jurisdiction and fair hearing at the appellate level. The legal battle will now move to the Court of Appeal and possibly to the Supreme Court. You don't see so. People don't react to. We will start from federal government lawyer. See what he talk.
We all must be courageous enough to confront terrorism, criminality, and all sort of things. I know that, political insinuations or perspective will be put into this matter. I was in court in there when somebody was saying, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. We are all Nigerians. We must love one another. We must not compromise the security of the country on the basis of those primordial sentiments. So I congratulate Nigeria today for seeing the end of this, and let it be a warning to those who may think they are bigger than Nigeria. The law is bigger than every one of us, and the law will take its course to deal with miscreants, to deal with terrorists, to deal with criminals. You know, all of us are victims when we keep quiet. All of us are victims when we don't do what we ought to do. Therefore, be a Nigerian. Thank you.
You don't hear us so. Next, look at this guy on the side of the judgment. Nnamdi Kanu deserves the life sentence. He was lucky that it wasn't a death sentence, according to this person. Another person, Nnamdi Kanu deserves life imprisonment, but terrorists need rehabilitation at peace talks. If they try to mock what they go on for those guys in the north, I don't understand this country. This person talks say life imprisonment for Nnamdi Kanu is the most inappropriate, a travesty of justice, a mockery of all the innocent people who died as a result of the insane words from his mouth. Nothing short of the fairest squad could have atoned, and he should have come without right of appeal. Say the for and the judge will say you cannot appeal. People, when say this was too harsh, they brought out this guy's matter for a say. This guy now commandant of ISWAP, where don't buy many people. Commandant, one of the leaders. They call Kacham. Many things where you do bombing, where he carry out, he use his hand. Say, person pronounce something, they give am life imprisonment. Person carry out act of terrorism, buy people, injure people, they give am only 20 years. Say, the judgment get some K-leg. 9, Sowori, who is also against the judgment. See what they do so? 4 and against. Say, on November 5th, 2025, I publicly warned that the verdict in Nnamdi Kanu's case had already been decided by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime. Today, they executed that script word for word. For the avoidance of doubt, based on credible information I received directly from individuals within the regime. This was my submission at the time. It could drop long till where I write that time say, they don't decide this matter. Whatever we go see say, they put on Nnamdi Kanu's head as judgment, and the hands of Esau and the voice of Jacob. Now I go hear say, no, the person where they dey talk. Now another person tell her what he go talk say that was not independent, allegedly by Sowori. Next, this person talk say one day the help of Igbos will be needed and the same energy will be returned. It's all love. This one called say only God knows how December will be in the east after this sentencing wahala. This is what Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer have to say. This thing.
Today we forever live in infamy. Today is the only day I have witnessed a man being convicted for mere offering, for what he said from his mouth, not what he did with his own hands. The verdict is not consistent with the evidence laid before the court. The sentence is overbroad, cruel, and unusual. How can you convict a man for making mere broadcasts from a location that was never named, and he never tied that broadcast to any single incident of violence, or even someone slapping someone, not to talk of terrorism? He did all this. He didn't lay any evidence. I don't know where this whole verdict can be grounded in law, logic, or facts. We disagree with the judgment vehemently, and we are going to fight it from here onwards until justice is done. Judgment, politics is based on some tribal, primordial sentiments. Just because Nnamdi Kanu is Igbo. An Igbo man has become the person in Nigeria that should be trampled upon. I'm not saying this because I'm Igbo. I'll say it for the House of Yoruba who gets trampled upon. But today we saw an Igbo man being trampled upon, and by God Almighty, we are not going to allow it. It will not stand. Nobody is going to trample on me. Nobody is going to trample on Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. He's a man that was pursuing change. To pursue a separate nation of yours is not a crime. So in Nigeria today, if somebody says don't be silly, you get convicted. Nnamdi Kanu may broadcast, and so what? And you convict him for terrorism for mere words in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What kind of precedent is being laid? So from here, we are heading to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is the only court in this country, or the next court in this country, that sits as a jury. We are going to approach justices there to check out what happened in court today. And we are pretty sure the justices will agree with us that today was the symbol of the travesty of justice that everybody has been suspecting all along. If the Court of Appeal disagrees with us, we head to the Supreme Court. But by God Almighty, Nnamdi Kanu is not going to stand convicted. He's going to get overturned. Thank you.
First of all, I want to talk to the Igbos that nobody should take laws into your hand. I'm assuring you, this judgment is predicated on anger. Thank God that the judgment was extreme life and everybody watched it. You will see the anger in delivering the judgment. And it's not predicated on law. Now, I also want to let you know that this charge, that the investigation that gave rise to this charge was not investigated, because Nnamdi Kanu's purported statement, was rejected by this court. And they did not tender any document as investigation report. That is to say, the investigation was not, the offense was not investigated. Having said that, also something that happened in court today, Nnamdi Kanu filed a matter in Court of Appeal. And he's asking, my lord, that particular matter I filed in Court of Appeal anchored on this particular issue. Please, can you just suspend this judgment? Let Court of Appeal direct what to do. My lord refused. Now, on the issue of anger, you journalists will bear with Nnamdi Kanu. Government, Nigerian government, and the judiciary are not fair to Nnamdi Kanu. What do I mean? Nnamdi Kanu was given judgment by Court of Appeal. Federal government refused to comply with that judgment given by Court of Appeal until after 8 days before the appeal against it. When we get to the Supreme Court directed the prosecution on what to do. Amend this particular charge. Nnamdi Kanu was saying that, please, can you amend this charge? They refused. With the combined effect of all this, I'm assuring you that this judgment will not stand. And the Court of Appeal will do justice to it.
You don't see answer. So what is your reaction? Drop off a comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.